And now moving to Argentina's growing economic crisis, around 15,000 government employees have lost their jobs in the South American country. Their termination is part of President Javier Milei's aggressive campaign to slash state spending. Now thousands of these laid off workers have been protesting, calling the move unfair. Our next report explains if President Javier Milei's strategy to fix Argentina's long-troubled economy is in fact leading to social unrest.
The public sector in Argentina is up in arms against President Javier Milei. This comes after Milei's government recently laid off nearly 15,000 employees from public institutions. It's part of the president's aggressive chainsaw campaign to slash state spending. On Wednesday, hundreds of angry workers stormed their workplaces in Buenos Aires and nearby cities. They were seen beating drums to demand their jobs back. The laid-off employees called their dismissal unfair.
23 colleagues were laid off from my area and 520 across the Ministry of Labour. We received an email informing us they weren't renewing our contracts and that they wouldn't pay any compensation. For this reason, we are today at the door and we are calling to collectively get in the building. We will organize an assembly because we don't want any of us to be on the streets.
Meanwhile, members of Argentina's largest workers' union also staged demonstrations outside the national ministries. In some places, scuffles broke out as police struggled to evict protesters from the government buildings.
This day of sadness, this day of anguish, this day of uncertainty from ATE, we are all going to transform it into an organization of the anger that allows us to deepen the fight plan until we prevent them from continuing to adjust us.
But how did thousands of state employees in Argentina end up like this? Well, when Milei took over the presidency last year, he promised to fix Argentina's long-troubled economy. He came up with a chainsaw campaign to cut through government bureaucracy and eliminate waste. The 53-year-old said that the power tool represented his commitment to shred unnecessary spending in government institutions. The first step of Milei's campaign was to solve the root cause of Argentina's economic problems, its out-of-control government spending. In a bold move, he pledged to cut 70,000 jobs across several public ministries. He then slashed gas and electricity subsidies, halted public works, announced tax hikes, and cut payments to Argentina's provincial governments. The chainsaw man even devalued the currency by over 50% to close the gap between the official exchange rate and the black market rate. But the president's budget-fixing campaign has led to a hike in inflation, making it harder for struggling citizens to make ends meet. This has led to more protests across the South American country, with agitated unions calling for a nationwide strike. The president's extreme solution to fixing Argentina's economy has led to social unrest. So now, instead of one, Milei has two big problems to solve.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.